guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in again. Today, I want to continue the composite series that we started last week. Specifically, I think in today's video, I want to talk about Neptune and Venus. Harsh aspects between Neptune and Venus and the more light aspects between Neptune and Venus and how they differentiate and how we can work with both. Can we? Really? Can we work with them? We'll find out. So now, before I get into the aspects, let's just talk about Neptune. Neptune in general. Neptune is what we call the higher octave of Venus. It's unconditional love. It is the rose-colored glasses. It is this ideal world that we wish we could live on planet Earth, but we are unfortunately not living in an ideal world. We are living on planet Earth, and this world is a world of contrast, and contrast doesn't really exist in the world of Neptune. Now, how do we deal with Neptunian energy? Because it is clearly still present in the world of contrast. What do we do with it? How do we apply it to our life? You know, when is it time to take off the rose-colored glasses? And when should we happily dance with them? Is there such a thing where we can actually do that? Is it realistic? Because after all, we are still living in this world where we have a reality. When we look at Neptune in the composite chart, we look at where the relationship is having on the rose-colored glasses, right? That's like what are we idealizing in this relationship? What is our idea of the ideal? And depending on the aspects we have, and we are here in this video, we're focusing on Venus and Neptune. Now, depending on if we have a harsh aspect as an opposition and a square, even half square, we can look at the quincunx as well. But let's just stay with the harsh ones, the opposition and the square. Now, Venus in a square and an opposition with Neptune is love at first sight, passion and sensualities. It's all there. It's like this relationship will get together really quickly. It's like, oh God, I found you. I found my soulmate. That's that type of a relationship where that happens instantly. And by instantly, I mean it can be instantly, or it just happens within a few days where, you know, you think you found the one. But then once you get into the day-to-day, over time, this aspect can really chip away on you. It can chip away on your understanding of making a relationship actually work and growing in it, because you have this idea of this person, who that person is. This person is often seen as your savior, and this goes both ways, right? This goes in, like when we have this in a composite, this goes both ways. We see each other as the saviors of each other, and we are this unit that is unbreakable. But generally, what we have with the square and the opposition is we don't see clearly, because those rose-colored glasses are just, they're so rosy, we can't see the edges. And we all have edges, right? All of us. But we want to ignore, we are really good at ignoring the edges for quite a long time. We are like, with that aspect, with these two aspects specifically, we can ignore the edges. But eventually, we will, because we live in a polarized world. We live in a world of duality, a world of like boundaries, we will run into those boundaries. And that's usually when shit hits the fan and we can't deal with it. Like, it's literally, we cannot deal with it. We cannot look at it from a objective perspective where we were like, okay, well, obviously this is part of life. We just, apply logic, we apply things that can help us move through obstacles, or, jump over the hoops. With that aspect, that it's just like you're crushing a dream. Like, you don't have the tools to overcome whatever hit you once it finally hits you. It is almost like you still want to see that, you still want to not see the reality. You can't believe that it is actually there. So for a while you might just go back and forth, and you still want to pull the other back to you, if there has been a split, and the other will try the same in their own way, but it will be really hard. I'm telling you, Neptune aspects are, in what I've seen, the most difficult aspects. We always talk about Saturn being harsh and difficult, but with Saturn you deal with reality. You can deal with it. You use your left brain, and you're like, okay, we will look at this. Let's see, let's make it work, because Saturn wants to make things work. With Neptune, there's no work. That is not a concept in the Neptunian realm, right? It's not a concept. It's just, everything is just ideal. It's like, oh yeah, let's just accept, and it's okay. If you have this aspect, this will probably not be the only aspect that you have in a composite chart. You'll probably, if you're lucky, have some helpful Saturn aspects, some Saturn in a trine that may help you to make this relationship stable. If you don't have that, good luck to you. It will be a challenge to actually feel grounded and truly fulfilled, in this human world. You will be fulfilled in a way that is very intangible, but it will not sink down to earth. Now, if you have Neptune in a more harmonious aspect with Venus, we are getting to the realm of making things work in the real world, in the Saturnian world, because with this aspect, with the specifically with the sextile, I really like the sextile here, because with that we actually put some effort in, right? We are like, okay, let's make our ideal a reality, right? Like, you are that couple that likes to move to Bali and just, live the beach life and the yoga life and the surfing life, and we move to Hawaii, and we just, that is that aspect where we live as kind of like an ideal life, but we make it work in the Saturnian, within the Saturnian boundaries. Also with the trine, you can do that really well. With the trine, it just flows. It's just natural. It's just a part of you, and that sometimes can make you lazy, but it makes things flat. It's just like, okay, this is it. The spark can be missing with that sometimes. But generally speaking, when I see this in a chart, I love it. I'm very happy when I see this Neptune, Venus trine or sextile aspect in a composite chart, because that is absolutely workable. Whereas the opposition, and especially the square, it's very difficult, and I haven't really seen it work for anyone unless there were other aspects in that relationship chart that helped it along, right? That where, you know, we had a lot of reality with Saturn, you know, Saturn trine Mars, Saturn trine Venus, you know, where we were like, okay, we still see clearly here. We can take off the rose-colored glasses when we need it. But if you don't have these aspects to even out the field, you know, you keep on those rose-colored glasses and you cannot, you just willingly drive into the wall. It's just like, oh, there's a wall. Oh yeah, we can just cruise through the wall. No, there's a wall and you will crash. So how would I deal with an opposition in a chart? I would look for other aspects that help me understand how to be more conscious about the reality of this relationship, right? So when I know I have this in my chart and this is an aspect, so I can, first thing I can do is like, oh, I can become conscious of, oh yeah, there is the rose-colored glasses syndrome here. And then I look, okay, what can help me balance it out? Is there something where I can go back to seeing clearly? Is there something that can help me in the chart? So you have to really, with this aspect, you have to become conscious as much as you can because this is not really a super conscious aspect. But you have to really bring yourself back into reality. And you have to remind yourself that you live on planet Earth and not floating through the universe. Remind yourself you live in a Saturnian world where we deal with contrast, and start playing with it. Start playing with the contrast. It's not like you don't have to become super like anal about things, or you know, it has to be this way or that way. No, you can play with the contrast, but just remember there is contrast in this sphere we are living in. So I'll see you in the next video.